This story I thought was fascinating. This is not happening in the United States yet, and that is the problem. You have a bunch of libs across the planet, really, trying to force nonsense down everyone's throat, and that nonsense, well, manifests itself in ways like this. A toddler, someone aged 2 to 3, and whose identity is specifically being withheld for privacy reasons, which I totally understand, was expelled from a nursery school in the UK for the inability to believe a transgender person is actually real male or female, according to the parents. Let's bring our panel back in to discuss this. Adrienne Gray and Anthony Watson are here to talk with us. So this, at a certain point, ridiculous becomes so ridiculous that it's I don't want to say even almost funny, because that's my natural inclination, but this is just crazy. It's maddening that a toddler, by the way, I have a toddler. She doesn't know what anything is, and well, actually, let me rephrase that. She knows what is and doesn't have the capacity to understand what isn't. In other words, if she sees a boy, she says boy, and if she sees a girl, she says girl. Adrienne, this is a level that I didn't know people could sink to. Having a toddler being expelled from a school because they weren't accepting of gender inclusivity.
Yeah, this is wild. As a boy mom myself, obviously this struck a chord with me, but it's like peekaboo, you're canceled. These kids should be focusing on learning the ABCs, not the LGBTQA plus alphabet. We're supposed to be prioritizing these things, learning colors, counting, but these butt-hurt liberals are obsessed with transphobia. It's their new hill that they're dying on. But children should be focused on playing with Play-Doh and not having these adults molding their young minds to fit their ideologies and narrative. It's sick, and they're obsessed.
I wonder if in lib families they sing LGBTQIA 2+4 6G12Z. I don't know the rest of the
Yeah,
words.
it's
That's
too
the
much.
acronym is too long. But Anthony, your thoughts, again, being around. So you're around a lot of students, Turning Point students, which is fantastic. But even at some of these kids in like even your elementary schools don't even understand the concept. What does this mean to do this to a toddler?
Oh man, because every toddler carefully crafts their socio-political ideologies between snack time and nap time. Next, you're going to read
Yes.
out of the UK, breaking news, preschooler gets expelled for insider trading with applesauce. What you're seeing right here is a well-crafted attack on the family, because now what this does is it forces parents like yourselves to now garnish your child behind closed doors to be like, now, if you want to go to school, you have to make sure that if Tommy says he's a girl, you have to call him she. And what that happens now is that, it puts pressure on the parents at home, because now their child may get kicked out of school. Any school that they want to enroll their kid into, that's going to be on their record as some sort of crime. When a kid literally at that young age doesn't know the difference, because there is no difference. It's male or female. It's XX or XY, and it shouldn't be anything else. All this LGBTQ plus IA, the gay BCs, whatever you want to mix this Molotov cocktail of frustration of, I ain't sipping the Kool-Aid. And so everybody else is now trying to play the game just for societal pressures that literally, in the end, start breaking the family apart, which is why you see a bunch of teenagers and young adults now separated from their family because of the peer pressure they get at school, because their home foundation isn't secure. By all means and by every means necessary, parents need to now start at any cost taking charge to make sure that their kids are raised right. It's not about growing up. Growing up is when you take the influence from wherever you find it relatable, even if it's bad for you. But when you're raised, that's when your parents, through all the adversity, through all the challenges, through all the trials, teach you the things that inevitably become a part of your DNA that you don't change from. And if it's happening there, everyone over here is like, well, that'll never happen here. But in certain ways it is. Look at all the stories that happened with all the people in daycares that were dressing up these little boys in dresses just because they felt like trying them on. And they didn't do it when the parents came in and said, don't you dare put my son in a dress. I don't care what he says. I don't want that. And if you do that again, this is what's going to happen to you. And it needs to be more of that.